All right, got a new lavalier mic. Hopefully it doesn't sound horrible. If it does, I won't know until I edit the video. So what I'm doing today is, this is a Pioneer SX980. It's got some scratchy controls. So all I'm going to do is work through what cleaning the controls on this looks like. I do have to clean up the inside of the case a little bit. There's quite a bit of dust and dirt and gunk and all that stuff. But I'm not going to go into detail on what that looks like. I'm just going to focus on cleaning the controls. Maybe this might be useful to somebody out there. This is not a recap, it's not a restoration, it's not a repair. It's just getting the scratchiness out of all of the controls. Alright, so let's flip this up on its side. And as you can see, it's got like dust and crap and dirt, and I'll be cleaning that up later. So take the bottom off over here. In fact, let me just speed through that real quick. All right, so that was pretty easy. Ignore the dog WrestleMania going on in the background. Dixie and Stella are taking advantage of an open garage. One of my cars is in the shop, so it's pretty barren. So they want to run around. All right, so just removing the faceplate now. One thing you want to be careful of is, once you remove those two top screws and you remove the retention screws off of the potentiometers. Oh, I forgot that one. This thing will pop right off. Oh, it looks like I removed the wrong screw there. Actually, no, it's a different one. I removed the screw holding the plexiglass diffuser in place. And that's the screw that goes there. Let me take care of that real quick. What's up, dog? Got a dog at my foot. So, I was distracted there. All right, so faceplate is off. Now, the fun part, although it's not too bad. So they've got everything buried pretty good in here. I'm going to start off by cleaning the pots. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to remove number one. I'm going to start with the right hand, if you're facing it, the right hand side of the receiver. Volume control and tone controls. Now on these, if I remember correctly, further disassembly is required to get to all of the switches, but I think, maybe not. I don't remember, yeah, I don't think I can get to those, so I may have to do some additional disassembly on this. It's not the most difficult receiver to work on, but definitely not the easiest. And all I'm going to do is remove, or detach, I should say, the board from the chassis, and then flip it up and over, and then work the controls. And these typically come out pretty easy. You don't have to do a lot of wrestling them or anything like that, so it comes out just like so. And you can access those controls. So I'm going to do this board, the switches, right? Like so, all the function switches and the speaker selector switch and stuff like that. I thought I could get to them from the back, and I kind of sort of can, but not very cleanly. So those are going to be removed as well. I'm going to see how I can do those. But I'm going to do this tone control board first, and then I'll do both these boards, and then we'll look at what's going on underneath. Sorry if you heard me talking. I'm going to edit that to speed through it, but Dixie, the newest addition to the family, thought she wanted to start chewing on the case, the outer case, the cabinet for this receiver. All right, so I think I can get to the switches. I'm going to try something here. I don't remember, but I think I can remove the screws, I think, and flip those boards up and get to the switches. So I'm hoping that's the case. You can't get to them from the top very cleanly. I mean, there's spray and pray you can do if you do that. But I think the problem is you got so many wires that if you flip this stuff around too much, you're going to probably end up breaking a wire. There are also springs on the switches themselves in the front, and you don't want to snag those. Man, I don't know. I don't know if I can get this out to get to the switches. Here we go. There we are. All right, so I should be able to get to those switches and clean them. So I'm going to do these switches, these switches. I know the speaker selector switches are good. I should be able to get those as well. I think those I might be able to get from the top. And I'm going to talk about one thing, though, before I get too far. So, naturally, when I'm working on this for someone, I do whatever it is they pay me to do. On this particular receiver, I looked at the schematic. I didn't notice problem transistors, right? So top 10 worst transistors, I didn't notice any in here except for on one board. And this is also full of these blue tantalum caps. And, talking to the owner, they didn't want to spend the money to do any of that stuff. They understand the risk, so I'm going to just continue with cleaning this for now. But, if this were a restoration or a full kind of rebuild or something like that, I would highly recommend doing those, right? If I was going to recap this, I think that's getting stuff down in there. I don't know. These are kind of a pain in the butt. They're sealed, but I think I can get enough down in there, maybe. But anyway, if you do this, you kind of do what the owner wants you to do. And even cleaning these controls, right? Probably a better way to do it would be from the side. Cleaning these controls, removing them from the board, taking them apart is the right way to do it, right? But when you are doing something like this and you're charging people for time, it's kind of an issue where, do you want to take the 2 hours or so to disassemble and dismantle everything, and ultimately, does the person who you're doing it for, do they want to pay that? More often than not, my experience is they don't. I think I've kind of complained on the channel before that people, sometimes they have, well, I guess they just don't know. I'm not going to maybe be mean about it, but, there are reasonable expectations and unreasonable expectations, right? So, sometimes you're managing those when you're working on stuff. But, so that board was pretty easy. I'm going to hit those a little bit more once I get it installed again, because I like to do about 40 or 50 clicks, and that typically will get it, at least for a little while. And then I'm going to move on to the other boards. I'm also, whenever I flip the boards around on a 50 or an 80 series, I always double check to make sure a wire didn't break loose, because it's a common occurrence. And then also make sure those springs aren't bound. So those springs appear to be good. So I'm going to go on to the next board. Again, I think I could probably spray and pray those from the back, or from the, actually I can get them from the side. Yeah, I can get them from the sides, so I'll do that. I'm not going to remove that board. So on to this other board. All right, I'm going to blow this out, but I'm also going to just kind of maybe dust some of this stuff off the bottom. Somebody had some kind of animal, a dog or cat or something. Bottom's pretty clean though. Then I'll take it over my air compressor. I probably won't do that in this video though, because there's really no point in doing that. Just to show you me blowing this thing out and then it's clean afterwards. But I will put this bottom on first, because it's easier to do it when it's laying upside down. So I was cleaning the controls on the Pioneer SX980. The reason why I had to do this one was the phono selector was pretty scratchy, as were the pots, the volume control, kind of the, you know, just the standard stuff. And again, if this had been a recap or something, I would go into more detail, but as this was just a real quick control cleaning, what I do like to do as a part of kind of a basic service is I like to check DC offset and bias. So I will probably do that as well. And if something pops up as a result of that, I'll let you know. Now, I thought there was a screw in that spot, but I don't see anything for a screw to attach to. Interesting. I don't think anything fell. So anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for this, unless I find something interesting when I go to set DC offset and bias, and then it becomes a repair video. But I anticipate this will be all right. Again, when I looked at the schematic, I only found, I think there was one board with problematic transistors. I think it's the flat amp that's accessible from the top, I believe. It's got, I think, 4 726s. So, but they don't want those replaced at this time. They also don't want the tantalum caps replaced at this time, so I won't do that. All right, so I think I'm going to wrap that up for this video. I just wanted to show you how you get to those. There it is. I knew something was up. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna finish putting this back together. But I'm gonna wrap this video up. This was just real quick control cleaning on a Pioneer SX980. If you like what you see, like it, subscribe. Catch you in the next video.